What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Trapfish Aquatics. Today I'm going to be working on the Aquaterrarium, specifically on the Hardscape. Um, and I'm actually filming this after I've built the Hardscape because I didn't want to film this and then forget what I said, and then, I didn't know how long it was going to take to do it. Turns out, good thing I didn't, because it took 8 to 10 hours to build this thing, which is way longer than I thought it was going to take. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the video. It's going to be a little bit of me explaining how to get the stones, and then some time-lapse video. And I obviously didn't record the whole thing because 10 hours of video shrunk down into a hyperlapse is still like a ton of time, still like an hour. So I'm going to time-lapse some of the video, show you a little bit of me attaching the rock pieces, and then I'm going to get to the end of the video and I'm actually going to sit down with the tank and explain to you guys what I did, and that'll be the video. So let's get to the tank. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking rocks, big flat stones I'm finding outside, and I am smashing them up into smaller stones so that I can continue putting stones in and cover all the white. Eventually there's going to be moss and plants and stuff. I got plants today. So I want to get this thing together quickly, that way the plants don't sit in the pots, because I really don't want them in the pots. I want them in the terrarium, or the aquaterrarium, and get it together and get it running, because I'm really excited for this project. And this is turning out a lot easier than I thought it would be, because you just take it and whack it, and hey, look, there's a nice rock, we can use that one, and I've had this stone inside for about 30 seconds, and this is where I'm at. So I'm gonna keep smashing this thing up and get it in the tank. So I showed you how you make the big rocks, just whacking the big piece with a hammer. If you want to make small rocks like these guys here, you just take the small pieces that you already broke off, set them up there, just start tapping on them. I'm not swinging hard. And they just start coming off in pieces, and then, I'm not going to do that one. Just, throw another one up there, and they start coming apart, and you get small pieces, and you just, make a pile and then start attaching it. Alright, so you get them all busted up. You want to sort out your sizes, right? So you've got my larges. My larges are about the size of my hand. You got your mediums. So for me personally, the mediums, I've been using them on the bottom, down in here. And you got your smalls. The smalls I've been using up here. around that area. And then you got your extra smalls, which I've been using to fill in spots like here on this fall and in around the small spaces in here. And then you've got what I call filler, and the filler, if you look, goes in between the cracks. So like if you can look through and see white, like over here in this corner right there, I'll take and I'll put some silicone and some filler in there, so it looks like you've got little tiny rocks that have settled into the cracks. So overall, the build's coming along. I now have to do, I got to do this little piece that I added in. Got to cover that a little, and then we have to, I got to get some rocks in there, and I got to do all the sides inside the falls and all that stuff. So, oh, she's crying. So we're going to work on that, and we'll see how far we get. Alright, so I'm out here with the tank right now, and as you can see, this is what it currently looks like. Let's see if we can get a little closer to show you guys a little bit more. Right, so overall it looks okay right now. It's very plain just because it's just stone, but that's going to change. I've already got my plants, I already have the soil and everything, so that'll be the next part of the video. I will make a video of me planting this. Now, I did have to make a couple changes to this tank because of the way that I'm going to plant it, because I got a bonsai tree and a little pine tree that I'm going to be planting in here, as well as some moss that looks like ferns. So I wanted this to look very natural, and I believe I'm going to be using White Cloud Mountain Minnows in here, so that way it all kind of goes together. But a couple of the changes I had to make were in the grow beds, specifically the one that goes back here and the one that was going to be right here, because that's where the two big plants are going to be. And I'll spin the camera around and I'll show you guys those. Okay, so those two grow spots. So the one, I guess you already saw it right here. We'll talk about this one first. So as you guys saw, there was just a little insert that drops down into there. And it was this one, but it was just the top part originally, just sit in there. And I was just going to put moss in it, so I didn't really have to do anything. But because I decided to do that tree, I needed more substrate, more soil. So I added this little tube, if you will, into this. So that's going to hold a lot more of the soil, and the tree will be able to set its roots down into that. And then this actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the tank. So it'll sit back in there like that, but you won't be able to see any of this because it's all behind the stones. So, you know, no real big deal. And I'll be able to have the tree in there plus moss around it and everything, maybe plant a couple stones up on top of it, and, you know, it'll look really good. So that's that one. It still just drops in the same way. It's much more tight fitting now because that tube just barely fits in between the these here. It just barely fits in between them, and I actually, in order to get this in and out, it does hit that tip of the rock there, so I do kind of have to force it a little bit and rock it back and forth, but it does still come in and out. So that's that. The pump is up in there still, and I decided not to go with any lava rock or anything like that. Go ahead and spin this around. So there's no lava rock or anything back here, right? It's just empty. And the reason for that is I think that all the stone that's going to be submerged under the water is going to have enough beneficial bacteria on it to filter all the ammonia and process that down to the nitrates on the front side of the tank. If I am incorrect in that, I can always add a little mini sponge filter back here. I added enough space right here that I can run an air line or something down in there if I need to aerate the water more, which I don't think I will, but if I want to run a little sponge filter or something like that back here, I can do that. So I did leave myself that option. And as far as that goes too, I can always fill these boxes with sponge. So, you know, something that I'm considering doing to help with the filtering. There is a chunk of sponge in here, though, be it not very big, there is one in there. So I guess we're off to the other side over here. So we'll spin this back around. So this little grow bed here. So it's actually about that wide. Right? It comes back to over here and actually goes back under these stones. So, yeah, you can see it back there. So originally I thought, you know, that's going to be enough room to do the plants and everything, and just have them coming out of this little space here, you know, because this will all be covered, and the branches will come out over here, but I don't think there was enough room for the roots, so I did the same thing that I did for that one over here, which if you look, it has another tower in it, a little tube with a hole cut in there so the roots can grow down into this. Now another benefit of doing this is you can take and add fertilizer spikes, so you can just shove the spike down in the hole there and it will continue to fertilize the plant, and same thing with that one there. So those are going to be where the main plants are going to be. After that is just going to be moss. I do have a couple of like hair grass things that I'm debating on using them or not. I'm not sure yet. Still undecided. But the mosses, I have this little spot here is going to have moss that comes out. It's actually going to be at an angle, filling up and coming down a little slope down across there and over the front lip of this a little bit. There's going to be obviously moss in around the base of the bonsai tree, as well as the base of the pine tree I have over here. I'm probably going to try and get a little bit of moss coming out across the top of these rocks, just to cover the silicone and make that look a little pretty. And you can see I added bases in here, 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 and here. That's all going to be moss as well. Pretty much filling that entire area, covering lots of the tops of these, and spilling over the front. Same with here, spilling over the front and across the top back there, and spilling over the front here. I'm probably going to, once this is put in here, I'm going to silicone a rock here, and I might grow a little bit of moss right here as well. I don't think I had any other areas. I'm pretty sure that was it. So basically the water is going to flow out of these. These are going to be covered, by the way, with big stones, and the tops of all of this is going to be covered with coconut husk fibers. I'm going to silicone that in place, so you won't see the tops of these. It'll just look like little sticks pushed up, and then the moss and stuff, so you won't see any of this white. It'll be covered, right? So you're not going to see any of that. It's going to look very natural. So the water is going to flow out of these waterfall boxes, down the face of these stones, into these little pools, and I built up little walls. So these little walls here are built up, so it actually pools water in there, and then it's going to trickle over the falls off of this stone out into the water. And same thing over here, it's going to build a little pool, trickle over this little fall off this stone and out into the water. So overall, I think this is coming out really good. I'm excited to get the plants in there. Like I said, I have all the plants. And you know what? I'm going to do a little sneak peek and I'm going to go show you those. But for right now, this is how the tank looks. Alright, so real quick teaser. These are the plants. This is a little European cypress tree that was a Christmas decoration. You can see the reindeer back there. But I thought this was perfect for like having a pine tree. I've been fertilizing it. The colors come back a lot on it. It's very lush and green. Looks awesome. And I think that's going to look really good in that tank. This back here is the bonsai tree. This is a juniper bonsai. I like this branch that shoots off of it. It's actually going to sit in the little grow bed. Let me see if I can remember how I had it. I believe like this. So that's actually coming out, and the waterfall is going to be right on the side of it. I think that looks really cool. So that's how that's going to be planted. These are those little hair grass things I was talking about. I'm not really sure what I want to do with them yet. They don't have amazing root systems on them. They're sitting in a little bit of water with easy green, just to kind of help boost them up. These were getting a little brown, like you can see here, but the green color has really come back on these just by sitting in this water next to a window. So not sure what I'm going to do with those, if I'm even going to use them. If you guys have any suggestions of where I could put those in that tank, please let me know. I appreciate your input. And for the Peace de la Resistance, I have my moss. Now, it's the middle of winter for me. I couldn't go out and buy moss, so I ended up having to order it online. Said it was going to take about 2 weeks to get here. It showed up in 1 day because, lo and behold, the people that shipped it to me only live an hour from me. So this is natural moss from my environment. It's only about an hour away, same state, 2 towns over. So this is the moss I'm going to be using. Just got it sitting in some soil, and it's already beginning to spring back up. It was compacted real flat, but it's already real lush and looks really good. And if you look, if I can get close here, come on, focus. They look like little ferns. Like if you were to walk out in the woods and just see ferns growing, it looks just like ferns, and I think that is perfect. Let me see if I can see it in this any better. Kinda, not really. But it looks just like little ferns, and I think that is amazing. So I'm really happy with the moss I got. I think it's going to work out great, as well as the bonsai tree and the cypress tree here. Still not sure what I want to do with these, but these are all going to look very natural together with the stone, because It's very natural for the area I live in, and I'm really going to like it with the evergreen theme. So that's the sneak peek on the plants, guys. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys like this build and the way it's coming along just as much as I do. I'm really liking the Aquaterrarium, and you know, just the whole idea of like having everything set up so it's like exactly like nature and just the way it looks. So that's it for today's video. Leave a like on it, leave a comment, you know, let me know what you think. Let me know what I need to do with those plants, because I don't know if I want to use them or not. And until the next time, part 3, when I plant it up and get fish in it and make it look awesome. I still got to build the stand for it, by the way, so that might be another video before that one. But hopefully within a week I will have this 3rd video up of me planting it and setting up the tank for its final setup. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.